respected physical education teacher, and my dear students. Myself Praveen Mishra. Today I will take session in Unit 8, Biomechanics and Sports. Now overview of my session is Newton's laws of motion and its application in sports. Secondly, the types of levers and their application in sports. We'll discuss one by one. Now Newton's laws of motion and their application in sports. First, the Sir Isaac Newton is born in 1642 and died in 1727. He is a greatest scientist and he is a greatest mathematician. He developed three laws of Newton's laws of motion related to the general rules about their movements of any type of objects. We will discuss all the three Newton's laws of motions one by one. Now the first law of motion, that is called the law of inertia. Inertia means mass of the objects. According to the first law, the body will remain at the rest and continue at move at the constant pace if any velocity unless acted upon by an external force or sometime in resultant force. It was given in inertia, law of inertia, many examples are there, but I was selected very few. Now the scatter has gliding in ice and continue gliding with the same speeds and in the same direction unless some external force act upon that by the scatters. And second application of sports is soccer players, the body of the muscles create the force when they are using by the kicking the ball at the rest to the motion until another players or the net stop or the change the ball in different motions or different directions. Now the second law is law of momentum or the law of resultant force. As per the law, the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to some resultant force and take place in the direction of the same resultant force. When the net force act upon the objects, the acceleration of the body it produces is directly proportional to the any type of the magnitude of the total net of the forces is in the same direction as the net of forces. Sometimes it will be inversely proportional to the mass of the object. The more the mass, the thing that has more net force has to be used while they are moving any type of objects. The law of momentum application of sports, many examples are there, but I was using very few. As in shot put, a player should apply the force, toss the shot put and using the correct angles has some greater displacement of the object that is the shot put. Whereas the players who exert the lesser force has lesser displacement of the shot put. Means if we exert more force means more distance. If it lesser displacement means the distance are very less. Now next example is application of sports is in the discus throw. If we want to determine the force acting on the discus, that the weight of the discus 2 kg. If we accelerate in 20 meter per second square, they will range is that they can secure more distance, means travel the more distance. Now the third law of motion is law of reaction. In that third law, it is the law of reaction is every equal has an opposite reaction. For every actions they react at the same momentum and the opposite velocity for every actions. The application of sports is in swimming, a diver needs to push the springboards when he or she drives off diving boards. The springboard pushes back the force on the proper projection into the air, and during that performance should gain means तुमको point basis पे points दे जाते हैं, so that if they push very well, then they under the water in a proper manner. Now next example is application of forces. When you jump off a small rowing boat into the water, you will push yourself forward towards the water. The same force used to go ahead will make the boat move that better backward. Means जितना आप उसको push up करेंगे वाटर में उतना ही वो greater distance push up करेगा. Now next part of my session is type of lever and their application in sports. Now there are total 4 types are there: lever, load, fulcrums and effort. Now what is lever? Lever, it is a rigid bar where the overcome resistance when the force is applied. Next is load. It is a point where the load or resistance is located. Third is fulcrum. Fulcrum, it is a point where the lever locate or turns or identify the lever class by its position in relations to other 2 different parts. Last is effort. Effort is a point at which the force is applied. Now there are the 3 different type of levers are there: first class lever, second class lever and third class lever are there. We'll discuss one by one. Now फर्स्ट क्लास लीवर क्या होगा? फर्स्ट क्लास लीवर हैज द फुलक्रम बीच में होगा एंड उसके दोनों साइड में फोर्स एंड रेजिस्टेंस आर देयर. नाउ एग्जांपल ऑफ फर्स्ट क्लास लीवर्स आर देयर: ट्राइसेप causing tricep extension at the elbow positions, means the fulcrum elbow है, effort tricep है and load means upper or arm and ball faces are. Second example is V sit-ups positions, means fulcrum hip position, hip joint is a fulcrum, effort is a abdomen and load it is a leg and lower body positions. Now second class lever has load in between, resistance and the fulcrums between load resistance between, and the fulcrum and the force are both the sideds. Now examples are the when we are acting that throwing a ball, the fulcrum is ankle joints, effort is a gastrocnemius muscles and the load are ankle joints. Now the second example is straight push-ups. When we are doing that V type of sit-ups, fulcrum is ball of the foot, effort is a arm muscles contraction and load is a body weight. Next, last is third class levers. The force is in between and the fulcrum and resistance are both the sides, may either the right or either the left. Now the example is bicep causing flexion at the elbow joint. When we are throwing a ball, fulcrum is elbow joints, effort is a bicep and load it is a arm and weight. Now next is sit-ups. When we are doing the sit-ups, the fulcrum is hip joints, effort is abdominal and the load it is upper body. The references which I have taken, purely the curriculum is 2024 and the manuals which we are using in that books which are using references which we are using in easily available in CBSE site. Thank you.